If I told you the richest person in history wasn't Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or even a modern-day billionaire, would you believe me? Because the truth is, the person who held more wealth than anyone else to ever walk the earth ruled centuries before Wall Street even existed. And no, you probably didn't learn about him in school. He didn't invent a smartphone. He didn't build an electric car. He didn't launch a rocket into space. But he had so much gold that when he gave it away, entire economies collapsed from the inflation he caused. This man's fortune, adjusted for today's money, would make the richest tech billionaires look broke by comparison. So who was he? And how did he build a fortune so massive that historians can't even calculate it? Stick around, because in this video, we're diving into the real richest man in history, how he got his wealth, and why no one today has come close to touching his empire. Let's go. Let's travel back in time. It's the 14th century. We're in West Africa in a kingdom called Mali. And ruling over that empire was a man named Mansa Musa. Now, Mansa wasn't his first name. It was a royal title. It meant king. And Musa? Well, Musa was a legend. He ruled from 1312 to 1337, and during that time he controlled an empire so large, so rich, and so powerful that it stretched across what is now multiple countries in modern-day Africa. But here's what made him different. Mali wasn't just rich, it was the source of the world's wealth. Why? Gold. Mali had more gold than any other place on the planet, at a time when gold was the money. And Mansa Musa, he was the man who controlled it all. Now let's talk numbers. Modern-day billionaires like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos might have a net worth that fluctuates between $150 to $200 billion. But Mansa Musa, historians estimate his wealth, adjusted for inflation, would be over $400 billion. And that's a conservative estimate. Some say his actual wealth was uncountable. Why? Because it wasn't just sitting in a bank account. It was flowing through cities, traded across nations, stored in mines, and moved in caravans of camels carrying gold dust, bricks, and bars. And here's the wildest part. In 1324, Mansa Musa decided to go on a pilgrimage to Mecca, a journey that would take him thousands of miles across Africa and the Middle East. But he didn't go alone. He traveled with over 60,000 people, including soldiers, servants, scholars, and entertainers. He brought hundreds of camels, each carrying hundreds of pounds of gold. And everywhere he went, he gave it away, to the poor, to the cities, to merchants, to rulers. So much gold that in places like Cairo, he caused massive inflation. The value of gold dropped for over a decade because of how much he gave out. Imagine being so rich that your generosity breaks the economy. That was Mansa Musa. But Mansa Musa's legacy wasn't just about gold. He didn't just spend his wealth. He invested it. He built schools, libraries, mosques. He transformed the city of Timbuktu into a global center of learning. Think of Timbuktu as the Harvard of the medieval world. Scholars came from all over to study math, science, law, and religion. His empire was built on knowledge, trade, and innovation. And this wasn't accidental. Mansa Musa understood that real wealth isn't just what you have, it's what you leave behind. He turned Mali into a superpower, a cultural and economic force that shaped history for centuries to come. And he did it without social media, stock markets, or hedge funds. He did it with vision and gold. Now let's do a reality check. Today's billionaires are impressive. Elon Musk is sending rockets to space. Jeff Bezos changed the way we shop. Bill Gates revolutionized the personal computer. But all of them still trail behind Musa in wealth. Even if you combine their fortunes, Mansa Musa would still come out on top. And he didn't do it through tech startups. He did it through land, resources, trade routes, and education. He controlled the thing that represented value itself, gold, and not just a little of it, most of it. While modern billionaires rely on stock prices to calculate their wealth, Mansa Musa owned his wealth, physically, tangibly, undeniably. So why isn't he a household name? Why do history books leave out the richest man who ever lived? The answer is simple. Most of the global narrative on wealth and power has been told through a Western lens. That lens focuses on Europe, America, and recent centuries. Africa's dynasties, its empires, its legends, they've often been downplayed, ignored, or forgotten. But history is finally catching up, and the truth about Mansa Musa is spreading, especially now when people are starting to realize that wealth isn't new. Money didn't start with Silicon Valley. It started with empires. And the greatest of them all was ruled by a man named Musa. So what can we learn from Mansa Musa today? First, that real wealth isn't just about having money. It's about creating systems, building value, and investing in people. Second, that generosity is powerful. Musa gave away his wealth and still remained the richest man alive. Third, that education, culture, and knowledge have always been the pillars of strong economies. And finally, that legacy matters, because gold fades, fortunes disappear. But what you build, what you teach, what you inspire, that lasts. If this story opened your eyes, even just a little, then here's what I want you to do right now. Subscribe to this channel. Because here on Money Route, we're not just talking about dollars and cents. We're talking about real wealth. Wealth that shapes history. Wealth that builds empires. Hit the like button. Drop a comment that says legacy over luxury. And stay tuned, because in the next video, we're breaking down how modern creators are building digital empires of their own, using AI, attention, and smart systems that print value in a whole new way. Mansa Musa showed us what was possible. Now it's your turn to build something that lasts. This is Money Route, and we're just getting started.